Hey everyone, Genome here, coming at you with the next episode of The Copper Mine. You know, my series where I take a look back at some of the special comics that I collected, you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s, that really was the heyday of my collecting time. So what better way to do that than with one of those iconic superhero battles that ever were, but most people don't even actually talk about or even know about, but everyone knows the covers. I'm talking about none other than Punisher War Journals number 6 and 7. Stupendous art by none other Mr. Jim Lee, of course. But what makes these issues so special, other than the fact they showcase my favorite character, is that it is a clash of the titans, if you will, of two of the hottest properties back then. We're talking about none other than the Punisher and Wolverine. So yes, they do come to battle in one part in each of these issues. So unlike a lot of superhero battles, they actually, I know they tease a lot on the covers usually, but they actually give you a little bit of meat and potatoes inside rather than just giving you like 2 panels of, you know, swinging each other, then just coming to an understanding and moving on to fight the bigger threat. That's not really how this one pans out. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So this one's a little odd in the fact that it is a Punisher book. So we start off with Frank coming in all beat up from a mission he's on, you know, as he's wont to do. Just a random thing he picked up on the way home from fighting another crime, you know. And Mike Gross patching him up, of course. He's like, Frank, you need a vacation. And, you know, Frank doesn't want to do it. But, and he knows Frank won't take a normal time off. So he actually goes out and books him as a jungle expert on an expedition in Africa. So he's like a survival guide and a jungle expert in Africa. And this is what's really kooky. Spoiler alert. Incoming for a few minutes here. They're actually rumors of sauropod dinosaurs. We're talking like Apatosaurus, excuse me, I almost said Brontosaurus, you know, Brachiosaurus, that sort of thing, Diplodocus, in the rainforest of the Congo in Africa. So after some cajoling, you know, Frank says, all right, I'll go ahead and do this. You know, simultaneously, apparently Wolverine is running a bar in Mandrapore in Southeast Asia or whatever, but okay. And he runs across a poacher, like a animal poacher, right? He's wearing a cheetah pelt like coat. Don't ask me. These 2 books kind of go off into the environmentalist realm just a little bit. So, long story short, Wolverine finds out where the pelts are coming from, so he's going to go back to Africa to track them down. Well, it just happens to coincide with where the Punisher is going to lead the excursion. So, there are some, you know, interesting plot points in here. There's the conniving wife who's actually kind of behind a lot of what's going on here for profit. There's a Texas billionaire that gets taken out, not really killed or anything, but taken out, at least wealth-wise, by a character they really tried pushing in the Punisher series for a while, like one of his next-door neighbors. I don't know if it ever actually goes anywhere, but anyway, he has a small role in that too. And then you of course, got some crooked military members of the Congolese government. So they even have pygmies. Technically, they have African pygmies in this book. Very, very odd. But, so they're out there hunting, and the Punisher's making friends, especially with this little boy. Little boy stumbles across something and sees something he shouldn't see and is killed by the crooked folk. And so the Punisher's trying to get to the bottom of it, but he's kind of ambushed by Wolverine. And Wolverine, or actually what's funny is, it's not really funny, it's kind of tragic actually, but while the Punisher is investigating what's going on, happened to the little boy, he's attacked by a giant gorilla, right? And this gorilla like puts in a bear hug, and Punisher's gonna die. So he has to kill this gorilla, which he doesn't want to do. He kills it with a knife. And of course, Wolverine comes around right at that moment. So he thinks the Punisher is part of this poaching crew, and a quick battle ensues. Wolverine kind of gets the better of him, you know, in like a blitzkrieg attack, and the Punisher's knocked off into the water. And something's hunting them down there. Is it the dinosaur, or what is it? So in the next issue, I'll go ahead and switch over. The next issue, yeah, we find out it's actually a crocodile is down there. And so Frank gets to wrestle a crocodile, and he kills the crocodile. Lucky for him. So he goes on shore, and he recovers. He passes out for a while. He's taking quite a beating. Wolverine to cut him a little bit. And it was funny because I skipped over it. I liked how they kind of wrote Wolverine a lot more back then. His healing power wasn't godlike. It wasn't OP. In the first book, he got stabbed by one of the poachers in Asia with a knife, and he's like, you know, I can feel the wound closing up. It's gonna be a few hours before it's healed. So he doesn't just heal within seconds and minutes like he does in a lot of the other comics. You know, he actually it's slow going. And this one, he's still tracking people, and a snake bites him. And he's like, well, it'll take care of the toxin. I don't have to worry about that. And he flings the snake away. So it was kind of cool how they brought his healing factor down a peg, and it makes him not so OP. So I like how they wrote that. They have a thing against snake bite in this thing. There's like 3 snake bites in the series, and it's all getting blamed on mambas. Poor mambas get a bad rap. See my snake videos for more proof. But so in this one, you know, the plot thickens a little more. They actually find their dinosaurs. There's actually sauropods roaming around in the Congolese wilderness, you know, or at least in the swamplands. But so Wolverine now is almost onto the poachers, the betrayers of the wife and the Congolese official. The wife is the wife of the archaeologist who set out on this trip or whatever, and she just wants it for the money. She's actually talking to the Texas billionaire I referenced earlier, but it isn't really too important. No one cares about that. They care about the fight. So Wolverine's closing in on him, and he's going to go out and just slaughter these two. And the Punisher stops him, because I can't remember. I think there's like somebody else with him that's innocent or something like that. So Punisher shoots him in the leg from a distance. He's closing the gap. He shoots him in the leg, and you know, that kind of lames up Wolverine a little bit, and there's a battle there, a lot of, you know, close quarters stuff, and the Punisher kind of gets upper hand here, which is cool. But you know, Wolverine fights back, of course, and then before they can do any huge lasting damage to each other, it's kind of broken up by Deus Machina, whatever. I'll leave the ending there, and you know, in suspense for you guys. But you know, long story short, happy endings abound. Punisher and Wolverine walk away from each other, not so much in a mutual way, but they just happen to kind of run off. You know what I mean? But they don't have any hard feelings apparently. So that was the book. You know, I kind of glossed over a lot of the story. It was a really odd duck story, man, with the whole dinosaur thing and the whole environmental issue thing they had obviously permeating throughout this book. The protection of endangered species, which of course is a noble cause. But they had some really cool character traits. Actually, they developed Wolverine a lot more than they did Punisher in this book, which is kind of surprising. I mean, he's already developed, he's in his own series, but he's a fairly new character at this point. He's only 6 and 7 in the War Journals, you know, saga, and the regular series wasn't too high a count at that point either. So, I mean, while it gives a little bit of, you know, look at him and his personality traits, it gives a lot more to Wolverine, like his heightened senses and, you know, how he feels about stuff. So, but it's an epic 2 books. I know I wanted these so badly. They were grails back in my day, back in the, you know, in the early 90s, late 80s and all that. They were so expensive. Actually, what year was this? Maybe not late 80s. I think it's actually might be 90 or 91. Oh, it's 89. Yeah, late 80s. They were so bloody expensive. I could not pick these up back then. They cost more than the first issue, and the first issue was like $25 or $30. So, they were just impossible to get a hold of. No one had them, and I couldn't afford the prices they wanted if they did have them. So I picked these up in like 2005 at a comic store I just happened to walk into. I'd been out of the game for a long time and walked in there and just digging through. They had long box after long box of old stuff, and they were like $3 each. I'm like, are you kidding me? These were like, you know, $40 a pop back in the day, and you know, it shows you how much the bottom fell out of the market. But so yeah, I got to realize the dream and got these great books. But as far as the matchup, there could have been some more fighting, in all honesty. There's only about 2 pages worth, probably total. You know, one's a full spread. But what they did show was really cool, and I like the matchup of 2 guys who aren't afraid to get down and dirty. You know what I mean? So, like I said, in the first fight, Wolverine kind of gets the better of Punisher. In the second fight, Punisher's kind of coming out on top a little bit, but they're still, you know, coming at each other when they basically get broken up or whatever. But so great little gems out there. Pick them up if you can get them cheap. I mean, the cover alone is worth it. I mean, both covers are excellent. Like the battle scene here is really, really, really good. But this is the iconic one with him shredding his Kevlar Punisher skull. That's just an incredible, incredible cover. Of course, it's Jim Lee. You can't do bad. And of course, Jim Lee did the art inside too, at least the finishings. Carl Potts worked on this as well. So this is during the Potts and Lee run, which is an amazing time to be a Punisher fan. So anyway, that's the series, 2-part. Pick them up, read them, or check them out digitally, or just take it from me. It was a pretty cool fight. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll have more comic content coming at you shortly, and hopefully the weather is getting nicer so I can start giving you some motorcycle backgrounds again, because, oh man, I'm itching to ride again, but it's just still a wee bit cold here. We had snow on the ground yesterday, basically, so. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. Thanks again for watching, and this is Genome, loving him some Wolverine and Punisher nostalgia.